cyclone is imminent. We present this advice from the Darwin Weather Bureau and the Northern Territory Emergency Services Organisation as a community service for top-end listeners. Make sure your communications are secure. Check your transistor radio and spare batteries. Keep tuned to radio or television news broadcasts. Anything on your property that could be a wind-borne missile, including rubbish tins, outdoor furniture, dead branches, toys and tools, should be anchored or taken inside. Store drinking water in bathtubs and bottles, and check emergency supplies and tools.
I remember hearing that cyclone warning on the radio. It played every 3 hours from December 22nd until Cyclone Tracy hit Darwin just after midnight on Christmas morning, December 25th in 1974. This shows the timeline of Cyclone Tracy and the path that it took. Cyclones begin as low-pressure thunderstorms over warm tropical oceans. Cyclone Tracy developed from a thunderstorm at 6 p.m. on December 22nd, 1974. It slowly moved south, building in intensity and strength during December 23rd. It was initially thought it was going to head down the coast and stay out at sea, but at 6 a.m. on December 24th, it changed direction and headed southeast towards Darwin, the capital city of Northern Territory. When it hit Darwin, it was a Category 4 severe tropical cyclone and was 100 kilometres wide. It moved across Darwin for about 4 hours before continuing southeast. By 10 a.m. on Boxing Day, it had travelled 280 kilometres across land where it eventually died. The red marker on this map shows where I lived in Darwin, number 15 Kilfoyle Crescent in the suburb of Nakara. Notice how close my home was to the ocean. I only lived minutes away from the beach. Here is a photo of my family. I'm in the middle. I'm the eldest of 4 children. I have 3 younger brothers. I was 7 years old in December 1974. This was the house I lived in with my brother's mum and dad. Many of the houses in Darwin were very similar to this one. They were built on stilts to allow lots of airflow around the house and to protect homes from flooding. Darwin experiences only 2 seasons every year, the wet and the dry season. The wet season is from November to April, and during this time it is hot, humid, and with lots of rainfall. Cyclones form during the wet season. On Christmas Eve, just before the cyclone hit, I was really excited because Santa was coming. Tomorrow was Christmas Day. That night, I remember going to bed in the room I shared with my brother Steph and lying awake, watching a candle flickering in the breeze on a dressing table. I must have dozed off because the next thing I remember was waking up to the sound of glass smashing and my twin brothers screaming. The wind was so fierce it had blown in the louver windows in their bedroom. Then I heard a groaning sound as the house started to move. My mum and dad grabbed my brothers and they raced into my bedroom. We all hid under my bed, clutching onto the bed frame. The bedroom walls came crashing down on top of us, and then the mattress that had been protecting us was blown away along with the plasterboard. The rain stung my hands, stung my face. It was so heavy that it hurt. 255 millimetres of rain fell during the cyclone. I couldn't see anything because it was night time, but just hear the deafening squeal and the scream of the wind. Wind gusts were over 200 kilometres per hour. It was so strong it was starting to make the bed shake and move. I remember looking to my left and feeling the side of the building. I was about to fall over the edge onto the ground below. It was just then that the winds calmed down and I was hauled out from under the bed and carried to the bathroom. Dad drained the bath and all of us children sat in it until morning. Here is a photo of the bath my brothers and I stayed in until the cyclone had passed over us. Bathrooms are supposed to be the strongest room in the house. Can you see the bed frame in the front section of this photo? That's the one we were under during the cyclone. There are no walls and no windows. They'd all been blown away. If you cast your eyes along the floor to the right, you can see the edge of my bedroom where I'd been before moving to the bathroom. Upstairs in the front left-hand corner of the house was my twin brother's room. As you can see, the whole room is gone. The cupboard in the front yard was from inside the house. I remember seeing my mum pack it with clothes on Christmas Eve. In the front yard, you can see bits of fencing and roof, a hot water service, broken chairs and furniture. Some of it was ours, some of it was from our neighbour's home. Rubbish and debris was everywhere. Here is another photo of my house after the cyclone. There are stairs on the left-hand side. That is how we got down to the ground in the morning. The second room from the end in this photo is the bathroom, and the room at the end is the toilet. The room at the front is the kitchen. 97% of the houses in Nakara were destroyed by Cyclone Tracy. More than 70% of buildings and 80% of homes in all of Darwin were destroyed. The total damage bill was $837 million. And of the 43,000 people that lived in Darwin, 71 people lost their life during the cyclone and over 500 people suffered injuries. After the cyclone, many people were left homeless. There were no essential services available, there was a risk of disease and a shortage of food and shelter, so most people were evacuated from Darwin. Women and children were evacuated first. Mum, my brothers and I were flown in a big air carrier to Perth. My father had to stay behind to help with the clean-up. He joined us a week later, and from there we moved to Adelaide.